Hello everyone, and welcome back to Mishnah Minutes. In this video, we will, Be'ezus Hashem, be learning Mishnayos Berachos, Parak Hey, Mishnah Gimel. The learning of this Mishnah should be a schus for my mother, Esther Fradl Bas Chana. She should have a refuah shaleba b'karev. The Mishnah begins with discussing phrases of tefillah, phrases of prayer, that the Mishnah deems to be inappropriate. So the Mishnah begins, Ha'omer al kan tzipor yagiu rachamecha. Somebody who says in his davening that the mercy, the Rachmanis of Hashem, extends to a bird's nest. Now, the Rav explains over here that what this person is saying is, he's making a reference to the mitzvah of Shiluach HaKein. The mitzvah where if somebody wants to take the baby birds from a bird's nest, first he has to send away the mother bird, only then can he take the baby birds. So this fellow is saying that Al kan tzipor yagiu rachamecha, Hashem, your mercy extends even to the bird's nest, and therefore we're asking you that just like your mercy extends to a bird's nest, you should also have mercy on us. So in the Mishnah is going to say that that is inappropriate, and we'll explain why. Or he says, Va'al toiv yizacher shemecha, your name Hashem should be remembered for good things. Now that implies that Hashem is only remembered for good things, but bad things, no, that has nothing to do with the Ribbono Shel Olam. Bad things don't come from the Ribbono Shel Olam, only good things. That's also inappropriate. We know, Kishem shebavarchin al hatoiv, the same way a person has to thank Hashem for good things, kein mavarchem al hara, a person also has to thank Hashem even chas v'shalom for bad things. The Ribbono Shel Olam has a cheshbon for everything. Ultimately, everything that happens to us is toiv. Everything that happens to us is ultimately for our good. And we thank Hashem for everything, whether it looks good to us, whether it looks bad to us. We always have to thank Hashem. So we don't say, Va'al toiv yizacher shemecha. Or a person says, Moidim, Moidim. A person is davening, and he comes to the bracha of Moidim. Instead of just saying, Moidim anachnu lach, we thank you, Hashem, he says, Moidim, Moidim. He says it twice. In all of these cases, mishaskin oisai, we silence this fellow. These are not appropriate forms of prayer. In the first case of the Mishnah, the fellow who talks about the mitzvah of Shiluach HaKein, we have to understand, the mitzvah of Shiluach HaKein is not because Hashem has mercy on a bird. We don't know the purpose of the mitzvah of Shiluach HaKein. We know that Hashem decreed the mitzvah of Shiluach HaKein, and we accept it as a chayk. We accept it as a decree from Hashem that there is such a mitzvah. And that's why we do it. We do it because we have a chayk. This is the Ratzon HaBorei. This is what the Ribbono Shel Olam wants us to do. We cannot ascribe reasoning to Hashem's mitzvahs. If the Torah HaKadosh tells us a reason for a mitzvah, for instance, the Torah HaKadosh tells us that we should put on tefillin and we should remember the nisim of Yetzias Mitzrayim. So okay, so then the Torah HaKadosh tells us a reason. But by Shiluach HaKein, the Torah does not tell us that the Torah gave us this mitzvah because of Rachmanis on a bird. The Torah HaKadosh just tells us there is such a mitzvah. So then we have to accept it as a decree, and that's why we do it. We do not ascribe motives to Hashem's commands. The problem of Al Toiv Yizacher Shemecha, I already said, we have to realize that we have to thank Hashem both for good things and for bad things. We have to bless Hashem, we have to thank Hashem for what looks to us as being good and what looks to us as being bad equally. The problem with saying Moidim, Moidim 2 times is it smells of duality. It looks like we're ascribing more than one power to the universe. It's as if chas v'shalom we're saying Moidim to one divinity and Moidim to another divinity. And we know Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Hachad. Hashem is singular. Hashem is the sole power. So we only say Moidim once. So in all of these cases, if somebody says one of these things, Mishasken Oisai, we silence him. The Mishnah continues, Ha'over lifnei hateva. Literally this means, if one passes before the Aron HaKodesh. This is referring to the Shliach Tzibur, the one who is davening for the Amid, who stands in front of the Aron HaKodesh. Ha'over lifnei hateva, the one who is leading the davening, v'ta, if he makes an error in his davening, the Mefarshim explain, this means that he loses his place during the Chazaras HaShatz. He's repeating the Shemoneh Esrei, he's saying the Chazaras HaShatz, and he accidentally skips one of the brachas, and then he goes back, and now he gets confused, and he can't recover. He can't figure out where he was up to. He's all confused, and he cannot continue the davening. Yavar acher tachtav. Another one should take his place. A new shliach tzibur should get up and continue the davening. And the Mishnah says, V'lo yehi sarvan ba'isa shah. When such a thing occurs and they need a new person to take over as shliach tzibur, that person who is asked to take over should not refuse. We know that normally when somebody is asked to daven for the Amud, the Gabbai comes over to somebody and says, will you please daven for the Amud for us? You're not supposed to just jump up and say, oh sure, I'll daven. First you're supposed to say, no, I'd rather not. The Gabbai says, no, please daven for the Amud for us. Then you say, okay. Why? Because you're supposed to act in a humble manner. You're supposed to first act with humbleness that, who am I to go daven for the Amud? Who am I to go lead the davening for the whole tzibur? So first you refuse and you say no. Only when the Gabbai asks you a second time, do you take the position of davening for the Amud. However, the Mishnah says, if the person who was davening for the Amud got confused and now we need you to take his place, this is not a time for refusal. We can't create something which is a tercha to tzibura. We can't create an interruption in the davening when everybody's sitting and waiting. Now, if the Gabbai comes and says, we need you to take over, right away you go take over. Menayin hu maschil, from where should the replacement chazan begin his davening? Mitchilas habracha sheta'aba. What he has to do is, he has to go to the beginning of the bracha that the original shliach tzibur skipped. So let's say the original shliach tzibur came up to the bracha of Baruch Aleinu, and he accidentally skipped and he went to the next bracha. So now the replacement Chazaras Hashatz starts from the beginning of Baruch Aleinu. Thank you so much for joining me for the learning of this Mishnah. I hope you will continue to join me for the learning of many, many, many more Mishnayos to come. Have a wonderful day. Be well.